The greatest Super Bowl run ever, joined by the greatest coach ever, Coach Andy Reid, three-time Super Bowl champ. You need no introduction, though. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good, Emmanuel. Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody. Joy, hello.
Looking good. You're looking good, Coach.
Hey, Coach.
I normally call you Big Red. You're small. Look at his shape. It's them championships, huh?
I have no more red left. James, got it. Your beard's looking solid, too. That's good. No grays and nothing. I like it.
I love it. Well, Coach, first and foremost, you had a phenomenal season. Have you had a chance to relax since all of it? You went through the gauntlet during the regular season, the gauntlet in the playoffs. I believe it was the toughest Super Bowl run ever. You faced the #1 defense. You faced the #3 defense. You faced, I believe it was the #4 defense. You faced a #2 offense, like a #3 offense, a #5 offense. An incredibly tough gauntlet. Have you had a chance to exhale?
Well, I did. After the parade, I took a couple days and relaxed. But there's not a lot of time, as you know. I mean, you get right back in. You got free agency coming up. You have the draft coming up. We just got back from the combine, so time flies fast.
Time flies fast. Coach, the greatest memory this season, exclude the Super Bowl game for me. Was there a moment this season where you just were fully elated? Was there a point in the season where you were like, you know what, this is why I am still coaching. This is why I'm still doing what I'm doing?
Yeah, well, it was a challenge of getting through that 5-6 game stretch there where we were up and down, offensively in particular. But to see the guys grow up before you, I mean, that's always satisfying for a coach. And then you go, you play the Raiders and you just get your tail kicked. And for the guys just to say, this is coaches and players, just to say, let's put our foot down, man, and refocus here. And then to be able to come back against Cincinnati and kind of make that run as we went on to the Super Bowl was neat. From a teacher standpoint, I thought that was kind of what made this team. Nobody pointed fingers. Everybody just kind of hung together and said, let's jointly get better at what we're doing. And that's really what took place.
Coach, it's your favorite, it's your guy.
Shady, you can't self-proclaim yourself as somebody's favorite.
Hey,
like
man,
he has to say you're his favorite.
Some things you just know, you know? But
no, he is my favorite. If he didn't do this, he'd be a great auctioneer.
I'm always telling people how great of a coach you are, that I feel like you're the best coach to ever touch the surface of the NFL. And they always ask me why. And we can always go to X's and O's and the way you develop players, but the biggest thing I've learned is how you adapt. How you adapt to the new culture, how you adapt to the new era of this football league. And I want you to explain to the people and myself is, where does that come from? How do you adapt so well?
Yeah, well, when I got in, I'm not even sure we had cell phones, so it's been a while. But you're always in this thing, I think, to learn. And once you stop learning, you end up having that boredom, and then it's time to retire. So I've always kept that open. I don't really care where it comes from. I love learning about the game and the directions it goes. That intrigues me. And so I've tried to keep my eyes open to that. Everybody has different ways of doing it. There's some great minds. We're sitting here. You guys know this. You're 1 out of 32 in the whole world to be able to do what you did at your position. And so, and all three, and Joy in her field, all three, you did it the right way. And so, and we're great at it. And that's that's the challenge of how do you stay on top? How do you, what can you learn that makes you even better than maybe what you think you are now? So, and then from a coach's standpoint, it's to give the players who are these great players, try to find one more thing. This is the challenge, find one more thing to make Shady even greater than he is right now. And so that's what kind of keeps you going and allows you to change with time. You have to do that. It's a fluid game, not only on the field, but also off the field as you study it.
In 2009, I was blessed to get a phone call from you to make me a Philadelphia Eagle. And since you came to the Eagles, you've been dominant. You've changed the Eagles. You come to the Chiefs, right? You changed that organization. You've been dominant. You've been great. I want to know this, though. 5 years, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl winners.
Oof.
What's the best one, though? Out of all the Super Bowls, what was the best one? Or what meant the most?
Well, I would tell you, post-game, this was kind of the most fun. I mean, it was different because not many people have had a chance to be part of winning 2 of them in a row. I mean, that's something, but it was also surreal at the same time. My mind kind of goes back to the guys and the players and the coaches and the organization. Like, you're standing up on the podium there, and I'm reflecting on all that went into the season, and it's crazy how that works. So for a bit there, it's just surreal. It's how many different turns did we make to get to this point, and all the people that contributed to it.
Coach, you guys had a very interesting season this year. You made all of us liars because we had some questions about what was going on, the most drops in the league. But the thing that stuck out to me the most this year was your defense. Obviously, we talk about your offense, and you're an offensive genius, and Pat and Travis and all of that, as we should. But talk to us a little bit about the defense this year and how important they were to your run.
Yeah, that was the one consistent part of our team. And Spags, Steve Spagnuolo does a great job with the defense, as do his guys. I mean, you can go right down the line with the coaches, the players. You saw this last year. You saw a bunch of young guys come into the secondary. Brett Veach doing a great job of bringing guys in. You saw the veteran players on the defense, whether it was the front or whether it was our semi-veteran players that were playing linebacker. They're not real old either, but those guys helped teach these young guys and show them the way. And then by the time we got to the playoffs, all of a sudden our defense was doing a great job. And then, that you saw that kind of offensively this year, but defensively, I knew coming into training camp, I could tell by the coverages, James, they were tighter, right? You know this. They were tighter, and whether it was zone or man, the guys had just grown up, and so you had this feeling like we're going to be really good on defense. Offensively, I felt like we were going to have to grow, but so much of that is the ability of Spags to be able to teach, and how he presents it to the players. I mean, I give him so much credit, and then the veteran, like Chris Jones and Bolden. I mean, all these guys that are part of that defense, just buying in and leading the way. It was great. I mean, it was really neat to see.
Coach.
I can't believe showing that right there. Poor Chris Jones got all of it, man.
Coach, first off, congratulations, man, on another Super Bowl win. I do know how hard it is to win one Super Bowl, and you got not one, not two, but 3 of them things. So, congratulations. Speaking of coaching, we know Spags did one heck of a job on the defensive side of the ball. I know when you're not in the office and you're not working on the field designing a bunch of crazy plays to win football games, right? You watching our show. I just know that. So you hear our heated conversations about the greatest coaches of all time. So for me, it's a couple people up here that think you are the greatest coach of all time. I believe Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. I just want to know what your thoughts are of who is the greatest coach of all time. I'm not going to have you rank them because you work for a lot of coaches and been in the game a long time. But where would you rank Bill Belichick?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Bill Belichick's. I put him right at the top, and for our era. And then I think you have to break it down into eras as you go. So, who's going to say Don Shula wasn't great, or the guys before Don Shula? So, I mean, these are people that have really raised the bar during their era and set records. So. But listen, I'm not in the business to rank them. I got to compete against some. But Bill Belichick, his record kind of speaks for itself, I tell you.
Yeah, Coach is modest and very humble.
He is. That's one of his greatest attributes. Well, Coach, one of your greatest points of praise, what everybody praises you for, and I think you deserve incredible praise for it, is you encourage players to be themselves. I mean, I think you do that better than anybody. One of my favorite quotes, though, is nobody cares what you're doing until you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Travis Kelce, I think he's the greatest receiving tight end in the history of the game of football. But this year, he had some ups, he had some downs. Self-admittedly, he dropped some passes. He also happened to be dating one of the biggest stars, one of the most talented stars the world has ever seen. I know you, obviously, coming out of the draft in 2012, we sat in an interview room. Was there ever a point where you had to have a conversation with Travis and just say, look, I don't care what you're doing off the field. Just don't let it impact what you're doing on the field? Did you ever have a conversation with Travis, and what was that conversation like?
Yeah, probably when he was a rookie, but other than that, I haven't had to do that. But listen, the Taylor Swift thing was all positive. There was nothing negative about that at all. I think she actually enjoyed not having to be the center of attention and being able to come to the game and be a fan. And so, I've joked about this before, but she went and made the offensive linemen these Pop-Tarts. And she just knew kind of how to get in with the guys. And that's all it took. But she's great. Travis is great. I'm happy that they're happy. That's the most important thing. And Trav never lets it be a distraction. That's just not how he's wired. He came to practice every day, the same Trav, and got after it. In the games, he got after it. And as far as his play, I heard he's washed up, he's old, he can't run anymore. But, really what it was getting that guy opposite him. So we've always had, and LeSean knows this, we've always had that guy opposite him that can kind of work inside those numbers. Well, that's kind of the quarterback sweet spot. James doesn't know anything about it, but inside the numbers there, in that sweet spot there, where the quarterbacks are comfortable. And so whether it was Juju last year, whether Sammy, when LeSean was here, Pringle developed into that. So, and they kind of do the same thing. They know how to play in space. They know how to run the similar routes that Kelce runs. They're good versus man. They can strike off you. Maybe they're not the fastest guy, but they know how to play the game in there. And that is so important. It's very important for Kelce's position and what we do with him. And it's also very important for that other position, whatever you want to call it, that spot that's off of him. So when Rashee Rice, his game continued to grow, Kelce, you saw production go up. Well, that's why. That's why. So you can't double Kelce all the time. And if you have that other guy, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Kelce's a great teammate, too. By the way, I'm a Swiftie now since I converted over, so I'm a Swiftie. I do want to ask you this, though, because when I was there in 2019, you had to play Wasp. Is that correct?
Yeah, Wasp.
And then this year you had Corn Dog? Where are you coming up with these?
That was last year, but this one was like the ketchup on the corn dog, if you put ketchup on it.
So, wait, where do you come up with these plays at? Because it's like, it just happens, and you just win the Super Bowl off a corn dog or a swasp, or where do you come up with these plays at, Coach?
Well, I'll ask anybody. It's not like you didn't give me your opinion. So, if you like it and it works, let's put it in and go. Right? It doesn't matter where it comes from.
That's true. It did work.
Just, if it fits in, let's go with it. And I think if a player says he likes something, it's normally going to work and he'll normally make it work. Yeah. So I'm not opposed to that. And then I've got coaches. I've got Matt Nagy, who
Matt Nagy, smart dude.
A phenomenal mind. Joe Blameyer. I can go through the staff there. Those guys there's great talent there that come up with stuff too. So, but we really don't care where it comes from. James, if you got any secrets for me, throw them out there.
Coach, you don't need no secrets from me, man.
Hey, real quick, though. I tell people, fans, and then I'll tell people on the desk here, I was like, Coach Reid, I've been in there where he's watching tape and the screen's black and white. That's back in the old days. And he finds a way to put the old tape from back in the day when they had the padded helmets, right? Not even the face mask, the padded helmets. And he puts it in today's game. Am I tripping, Coach? Do you not do that?
No, listen, you guys wouldn't be so pretty if you had those helmets on, right? No face mask. Joy would be the only one doing the TV right now.
Yeah, I'm still trying to hold it down anyway, Coach.
No, you do a great job.
Thank you. You guys are at the top of the NFL. You're the dynasty. You have 3. You have back-to-back. You've got the best player in the game in Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about elites and dynasties and GOATs and all of this. And you guys are here now. So how do you avoid getting comfortable? How do you avoid the sleeping in the silk sheets? You come in and work as hard as you did before. I mean, those silk sheets are nice. They're nice, and nicer after you have 3. How do you stay grinding the way that you were before you ever won one?
Joy, first of all, chubby guys don't look good in silk sheets. So I'm just putting that out there. I would tell you that, and nothing has changed. You've got to, expectations are high, all that, but it's important that our expectations are high by taking care of business and coming to training camp, right? Training camp's not going to change. It's not the easiest training camp in the NFL, and you better be prepared to start the foundation. And then you hear coaches say, take it day by day. I'm not really into saying that, but that's really what you have to do. And I don't really want to hear that. I'd rather see it than hear it. So be ready to go. And then let the chips fall where they may. It's hard to win a game in the National Football League, let alone say that I'm a predicted championship at the end of the year. I mean, you can't do that. So let's just hammer it out and give it our best, the best that we can do, and see where we lie. But that's the work level won't change. That's not going to change. The fundamentals aren't going to change. I always joke to guys like, there's a point where you got to take off the tuxedo and put the blue jeans on. Mm-hmm. And so it's and that's when training camp, or you're training up to get to training camp, you better be ready to go. I remember this one guy, wore number 25, and he told me he went to another team, and then he came back. He goes, "Man, I forgot all about this." Well,
That's true.
I forgot how
That
it
is
worked.
true.
And this was just practice in season.
That's true.
And I said, "Well, you got spoiled. See, this is what happens, and old, but that's all right. We all get old." but that it's that workload won't change.
Coach, couple things. Number one, I could tell that you watch my tape because you know that I don't play in the slot. That is not what I do. Put me on the outside and let me go to work. So I wouldn't have been no help to Travis Kelce.
I didn't just watch your tape. I played against you. So
Yes,
I mean, I know.
Yes, you did. Number two, you coached a lot of great players. As I look into the camera and as I talk to you, who's the greatest running back that you've ever coached, Coach?
This is an easy one.
Well, I've been blessed with a lot of great ones, but this kid from Pittsburgh is pretty good now. I'm telling you. I mean, I'll brag on him. There are not many people that can make you miss in a phone booth, but that joker can. You guys know that. I'm sure you got Acho here just a little bit. Huh? Somewhere you had to have got
A little more than a little bit, Coach.
Taking shots now.
You getting comfortable. You getting comfortable.
That's the really
brought it out of him now.
Coach, speaking of taking shots, we have a very prolific competition on this show just 4 days from now. There's a high-profile race between LeSean McCoy, James Jones, a 40-yard dash. It will occur, Coach, right outside of the Fox studio lot on the pavement. You have seen very many 40s. You've timed a lot at the Combine. You were just at the Combine. You know what real speed looks like. Who are you taking in the 2024 Speak 40-yard dash?
I know I won't take 2.5 in a vertical jump, but I might take him in the 40. But I don't know about that. I know this, Joy. Just, Joy, get out the tape because the Achilles tendon.
Coach, I want no parts of this. I'm gonna be on the sideline watching. And yes, we have a medic ready, so don't worry.
I love it. Coach, another one for you. With Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll no longer coaching, you are the resident coach. You're the oldest coach. You're still doing that at an incredibly high level. Age isn't just about how many years you've been on this earth, but how old you feel. You coach at a young level. You look like you still have all the energy in the world. But how much longer do you want to do it for? You're going to coach as long as Pat wants to play? Might you retire before Pat retires? Like, how much longer, Coach? You've achieved it all. How much longer do you want to do it for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that. I mean, I don't know that. I was always told by my parents, you'll know when you want to retire, and I feel great today, man. So I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you. I know I still enjoy what I'm doing. I could never tell you a time on it, but I'm sure there's going to be a point when you wake up and you go, doggone. I mean, this is, I probably need to hang it up, but that's not how I feel right now.
Lastly, Coach, you've seen a lot of incredible quarterbacks. You've coached a lot of incredible quarterbacks. There are a lot of incredible quarterbacks coming out of this year's NFL draft. You're obviously not on the market for one for the most apparent reason in the world. But when you look at Caleb Williams, many people compare him to Patrick Mahomes. You have your eye on the college landscape because you have your eyes on everything as a brilliant mind. How do you see Caleb Williams, who many people perceive to be one of the greatest talents we've ever seen coming out of college?
Yeah, I think he's tremendous. And I think these young quarterbacks that are coming in, I mean, how great is that for the National Football League?
Yeah.
I mean, there were times when the league didn't have those elite quarterbacks. Now we've got this influx of young guys that are doing this thing. And this draft class looks like there's a handful of them that potentially could roll. But you know, we'll see how they adapt. I haven't really studied the guys, so I can't tell you other than like TV studies. So, but they sure look good, and I'll get around to hitting those guys. I'm looking at a couple other positions first, though, so we're digging in on that, and then we'll go there. I've been blessed, and you're right. I've been blessed, as James was, to have coached in Green Bay with a pretty good guy, and then I go to Philadelphia. And I got Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, and I come here. And I've got Alex Smith. And I've got Pat Mahomes. I'm going, you know what? How lucky is that? And I've been blessed that way. And so, but this Pat Mahomes is pretty good. Not only is he a good player, but he's a good dude.
Yes,
you know, just all the way around. Heck of a person, good dad, husband, that whole thing, and wants to be great. And LeSean could tell you, he comes in the huddle and he says, let's be great today. Yep. And he means it. You know, some guys just say it to say it. He means it. And then that's how he goes about his job.
Three-peat. Let's do it.
You guys talk about that all you want, man. You know, we've got to get down to the nitty-gritty,
yes,
right?
Sir.
So take care of business.
Love you, Coach.
Coach, everything you just said about Pat, we can also say about you. Incredible person, heck of a father, heck of a leader, heck of a man, and obviously one of the greatest coaches the game has ever seen. You don't have to take your time out of your day, but you did for us. We consider you family, and we appreciate you doing the same, Coach.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Appreciate it, James. And Joy, keep these guys under wraps here, man.
Best, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.